You are about to enter the Red and Rev Sports Show experience. Get ready for some real sports talk from some real sports fans who were real sports athletes who have sports knowledge.
Dream a little dream. Welcome, everybody. Episode 185. Dare to Dream. The Atlanta Dream has them a new star. I know you'd be dreaming if I ever watched it. Seriously, though, I'm actually happy. I like this girl right here. But Dare to Dream with a Hawk have home court. Dare to Dream could the Atlanta Braves have back-to-back MVPs. Dare to Dream. Could the Atlanta Falcons actually make the right draft pick? Woo! Dare to Dream. More black men gaining ownership in the sports world. Now, for a nightmare, Rush Probst killing dreams and starting nightmares. Some more good players hang it up and say retirement. but let you all dare to dream, because Shelby is back and Red's nightmare starts again. So, episode 185, let's go.
Let's do this. Welcome to another episode of the Red and Rev Sports Show featuring Coach Patrick Thomas. All of us this week are coming to you live from the ATL Show. Giving you real sports talk because we are real sports fans who were once real sports athletes who have what, gentlemen? Real sports knowledge. So hang out with your boys, Red, Rev, Coach, and soon to be Shelby for episode 185. And as is our sports custom on this sports show, we turn our numbers attention to our numerologist on this panel, Coach Patrick Thomas. What you got for us, Coach?
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to the show. My 85 Hall of Fame. He was number 85. He was the best wide receiver for the Washington Redskins, but now the Washington football. Every play, they will three number one and over 100 yards.
Coach, hold up, Coach. We're having some audio problems with you, man.
Wait a minute. Hello?
Now that's better. That's better.
Okay, I'm here.
Yeah, go try it again.
All right, my 85 goes to a man who was a wide receiver for the Washington Redskins, now the Washington football team. He was their best receiver. He was number one all time. He had the record for over 106 receptions in a season. He was number one at the time, and he still is number one. And without him, the Redskins probably wouldn't have been as great. Number 85, one Arthur Monk.
Art Monk. That was in my lifetime. Thank you, Coach.
Yeah.
Thank you, Coach. He was in my lifetime. I appreciate that. Don't have to Google him. I do remember Art Monk being a part of those great teams with Coach Gibbs, winning those Super Bowls, and he was definitely a great wide receiver. So thank you for not having to spend some extra time Googling someone that I never heard about. I appreciate you, sir. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. How you gentlemen doing?
It's cool.
Doing good, man.
You sure ready? You getting your sparring material ready for when our guest comes in?
Of course. Always.
All right, because we're looking forward to what happens. Let's see who's chimed in today. See who the Revenites. Let me welcome the Revenites since they were so kind enough to name the crew after me. Let me welcome the Revenites to today's show. Let's see who's coming on in Revenite Nation. Who we got tuning in? Miss Ellie Vaughn Williams, glad to have you. Joe in Jacksonville, Florida, glad to have you, brother. We'll be getting in touch with you soon for episode 200. We got Florida on our minds. Chris Traylor up in the ATL. What's up, Chris? Sister Sylvia Harris, a.k.a. my mother's watching. Kelly, you are here so early. So I know you have a little note moment for this week. Hey, how you doing? Kelly?
Yes, Kelly didn't have a pedicure she needed done this week.
And Sister Harris is showing the woman who will be on our show some love. Shelby hadn't even gotten on, and she's getting love already. Goodness gracious, I tell you. Vincent Woodruff, good morning. VP of the Revenites representing. Glad to see you taking your post. And there it is. Vincent is ready to see some sparring. He said, no love fest. We want to see some sparring between Red and Shelby. And Joe Black said he's ready. I'm glad you're ready. All right. If you're ready, Bomani Jones says you don't have to, if you stay ready, you don't have to be ready. So that's what I like about that. We're looking forward to taking episode 200 to Jacksonville, Florida. But we'll talk more about that in the times coming. But backed by popular demand on an every other week basis, here it is. We're going to bring our fourth person to the panel, Sister Sports Talk, Shelby McDonald. What's going on, Shelby Shell? What's going on? Everybody show Shelby some love. She's with us once again. She is gracing us with her sports presence. And as of right now, she's agreed to come on every other week. And she's agreed.
Oh my God, are you serious?
Every other week, bro. Every other week.
Every other
during
week?
the football.
Every other week, Red.
Never know, Red. You just never know.
Yeah.
Every other week, Red, we worked on contract behind closed doors. I'm sorry. Well, I couldn't bring you into negotiations because we didn't need any haters in the house.
We heard you out the door.
It would have been once every blue moon if I was making the decision.
But you're not. It's not your show.
Yeah. Thankfully, we have a reverend that makes those decisions.
All right, let's get ready to rock and roll because we have a whole bunch of good sports talk. Look, Red just choked on his edible.
I already said that, so I don't even have to ask.
Oh man, that was hilarious. All right, let's jump right into it. Let's get ready to do our dope, nope, and cope for this week as we normally do. Fans, feel free to share whatever you're doping, noping, and coping on while we're doing our dope, nope, and coping after we get through. We'll be happy to bring yours to the screen. All right, we're going to do just something different. We're going to let Shelby go last since she went first the last time she was on the show. So since she's going to be pretty much a regular as a regular can be, we're going to just rotate it around so she'd be officially part of the crew. All right, Coach, we'll jump with you. We'll start with you, rather. What are you doping on?
Well, I'm a former softball coach, so I love this. How about this for perfection? We got a North Texas softball pitcher named Hope Trotwine. She faced 21 batters, and nobody got a hit off of her. But guess what she did? She struck out 21 batters.
Woo!
Yep, you may never see that again.
That's a perfect.
Batter face 21 strikeouts.
That's better than a perfect game.
So my dope moment got to go to Hope Trotwine. 21 up, 21 down.
Wow. Yeah. Wow, that's 7 innings of perfect football. That's 7 innings of perfect softball. Wow. That's pretty dope. All right, Red, what are you doping
on? I'm doping on MJ deciding to present Kobe at his Hall of Fame presentation upcoming. Good job, GOAT. We got one GOAT presenting another GOAT in the Hall of Fame. I love it.
Oh, yeah. All right. And I am doping on one Ronald Acuna Jr., not because of the batting, but because of the speed that he is displaying on the base path, beating out a hard ground ball and beating it out to get a base hit, then scoring from second on yesterday. While there was an infield hit, the dude is putting to rest any discussion about him dogging it, not hustling. He has been the epitome of hustle, showing his video game speed this year. He is doing just a phenomenal job on the base path as he is doing with his hitting. So Ronald Acuna Jr. gets my dope moment for this week.
Excellent. Absolutely excellent.
Shelby, what are you doping on, ma'am?
It's G-Day in Athens, in the Classic City. It's G-Day, which is why I have my Georgia red on. Wish I could be there, but it looks like it's going to rain. But no, it's going to be a beautiful day for spring football. So it's G-Day.
All right. So now we got to get accustomed to Shelby bringing up Georgia like Coach likes to bring up Pittsburgh Steelers all the time for every topic. So here we are. We get used to it. All right, Coach. No, Red, it's on you. What are you noping on, sir?
I guess I'm probably going to be all NBA related for my dope noping, Coach. I'm noping on one. Chauncey Billups running off at the mouth this week. Know you're upset, Chauncey, that you didn't get in the Hall of Fame on the first try. But, dude, like I was telling people this week, be patient. There was no reason for you to bring Allen Iverson's name into the reason trying to compare your career to his. Because you upset you didn't get in the Hall of Fame on the first ballot. First of all, I never thought you was the first ballot Hall of Famer anyway. Iverson, his career speaks for itself. Chauncey, you had a nice career, but dude, you're really making people lose a little respect for you tonight, right? By trying to talk about Iverson. Worry about your own career. You will get in the Hall of Fame. Be patient, but don't make us lose respect for you by talking about another man. Okay? Come on, Chauncey.
All right, noping on Chauncey Billups, and it's on me. And I am noping on the Denver Nuggets title hopes after Jamal Murray went down with the season-ending injury. No need to keep talking about the Denver Nuggets being a championship contender, for that's all that people were talking about ever since they acquired Aaron Gordon. That talk has gone out the door. The Denver Nuggets will not be competing for any championship on this year. So Denver Nuggets, nope, you're no longer a title contender.
No! No! No!
All right, Shelby, what are you noping on, ma'am? Baseball
replay. If you have 5 angles, I don't understand how you got that so wrong. It was just so wrong. And you have 5 angles, and 5 angles showed you that he never touched the plate. I saw it. My mama saw it, who doesn't even watch baseball, but went back and looked at it and was like, oh, yeah, he didn't even touch the plate. It was ridiculous.
So Shelby is noping on the instant replay debacle of the Phillies and the Braves last Sunday night.
Oh, come on!
Terrible call. All right, Coach, what are you noping on, sir?
I'm noping on the guy out there in Los Angeles who mistook Aaron Donald for the man who assaulted him this week. Now you're bringing unnecessary publicity to a NFL player or a pro athlete. Aaron Donald actually trying to help you, but I guess that one eye closed, your eye was closed, so I don't see the problem where you can accuse a man when you can't even see who it was. Now you're saying you mistook him outside of Pittsburgh area nightclub. Come on, dude. You couldn't even see it. So I don't think you understand what you did.
You have got to be kidding.
Coach don't work for defending Pittsburgh Steelers. They're just defending all athletes from the Pittsburgh area.
But the dude tried to put Aaron Donald in a bad light. Aaron Donald was one of the ones tried to help him. And
I'm glad he got exonerated from that situation.
All right, let's move on to what we're coping on. And I am coping on the fact that we are watching basketball not at its finest. For every time we turn on, somebody's either resting or somebody's being hurt in the NBA. And therefore, we are not definitely headed towards a Kodak finish. It is more like a terrible finish. I'm getting tired. Kawhi Leonard didn't play last night. Tobias Harris didn't play last night. Then in another game, you got, of course, you still got LeBron and AD down. Then in another game, other stars are not playing. Greek Freak just got back on the court. So this is bad basketball to me. Starless basketball is bad basketball. So hopefully the playoffs will come here sooner than later so that we can see the pros and their teams play to the strengths that they put these teams together to have. So I'm looking forward to playoff basketball. This regular season basketball, I'm over it now.
Epic fail.
All right,
it's gonna be the last team standing, man.
Right now, just the Braves. They're on, and they're off, and then they're back on, and they're back off, and it feels like they're bipolar. They lose 4, then they win 4, and they lose 3, and they win 5, and it's just. I think we're just gonna have to cope with a really long season until they get it together.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Coach, what are you coping on?
I'm hoping that the
No, it's coping, not hoping.
Okay.
You up here trying to you must have been touched by Red's observation of trying to add the hope moment. So, what are you hoping on?
Oh boy. I hope I'm coping.
You're coping, Rev. Coach, cope. Let's say it together. Coping.
I'm coping with the NFL teams in the top of the draft that don't pick Justin Fields. I hope you can cope with the fact that you're going to be missing out on one heck of a talent that can be leading your team for the next few years if you pass up on him and get another quarterback like a Mac Jones. So I'm coping for the NFL team who have a chance, except the Jacksonville Jaguars, to pick Justin Fields and don't pick him.
All right. That's what Coach said. Arcade death is coming to those.
I hope it's San Fran that you're coping with, Coach, and my Falcons will gladly make up for their mistake.
And you are coping on what, Red?
I'm coping on these NBA networks, ESPN, NBA TV. I'm coping with them playing this Miles Bridges dunk over Clint Capella the rest of the season. Lord have mercy. Do I have to see that again and again and again? The Hawks won the game. Okay. So what? He had the dunk of the year. They still lost, okay? So I don't need to see this replay over and over and over again. It was a good dunk, Miles Bridges, but realize that the fact that your team lost, okay? So that's what I'm coping on. I don't need to see that dunk anymore. It was embarrassing for my man, but hey, I'm glad we still won the game.
Hey, Red, Clint Capella took an L on that.
I'm not real. Now they're going to keep playing the dang on replay.
I'm sorry, Clint Capella took a serious L on that one. Hey, it's okay, man. It's okay. You know, everybody, if you play long enough, and especially on a certain level, you're going to get dunked on. I got dunked on once in my college career, so it happens, man.
I wish I could find that video, real.
Hey, especially when you try to block a lot of shots, eventually you're going to get poked on. You know, somebody's going to get higher than you.
Yeah, that was, even I got to admit, that was nice. I just don't want to see the replay no more.
All right, let's see who the Reverend Knights are doping, and coping on today. Andre Drummond, Sister Harris, is doping on Andre Drummond as a Laker. It could be argued that he put LaMarcus Aldridge in retirement, but we'll talk about that later. Dope is Joe Black signing of Cordell Patterson. We were talking about that before we got on. Chris Trailer is doping on Acuna with his 14th extra base hit in 13 games, tied with Hank Aaron. Vincent Woodruff is doping on Carlos Rodon, throwing a no-no against the Indians. Yeah. Lance is doping on the Dodgers at 12-2. That's not going to get a lot of kudos on that. As Chris Trailer let you know, he wasn't trying to hear that. Thomas Holcomb says he's late, was at the Pygmy Sloth.
Canberra better be a real city too, man.
Yeah, Canberra is a real Australian city.
Oh my goodness, it Canberra.
At least it's book is no accurate.
The Pygmy Sloth Bungee Jumping Brigade.
How much were the tickets, Thomas? Get it to you like that.
That's one of his best ones. That's what. Oh my goodness, he's doping on Sports Bay Shelby. Look at that. Vincent Woodruff is noping on that thug here in Columbia, South Carolina, that bullied that kid for WWB. Shameful, seems to never end. Thomas Holcomb is noping on the WNBA draft eligibility rules. I guess not them being able to declare very early, because you know, in true sense, that girl from UConn could have easily gone pro after a freshman year. You can't get it any higher than being the player of the year. But nevertheless, Kelly agrees with Shelby's note moment. He never touched that plate. Lance says Ray Charles could have called him out. Joe Black is doping on Eddie George. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. That dude is the Mitch Green with that eye that Coach was talking about. Vincent Woodruff, Dion may have started the positive trend. I love it. Talking about pro football players going to HBCUs. Vincent Woodruff, LaMarcus Aldridge. He's coping on LaMarcus Aldridge, calling the career help first. Take care of yourself, brother. You'll be missed. Joe Black is noping on Kyrie being sensitive again. Lance is coping on this Bayou Classic. Yeah, my daughter's coping on that as well. She chose not to attend because she said ain't no Bayou Classic in Shreveport. It's only in New Orleans.
Hey, I love Shreveport.
Thomas Holcomb is coping on Deshaun Watson. Just cut the check. Seems like that's what they were trying to get him to do. Vincent Shelby with the Brave Shades. He loves it. Joe Black coping on draft experts, continuing to try to tear down black QBs. And
not all of them.
In particular, they're doing a great job sabotaging Justin
Fields. Yeah.
Vincent Wood, your Reading coach, trying to mend. Alexis says it's still early in the baseball season for the Braves. They have some injuries right now. I don't think an injury to Ender Inciarte and my man Pache, that should keep the Braves from winning. But that's another story for another day. Vince said that Tyler's efforts are ramped up this time of year, never fails. Thomas is also doping on Thomas, man. You trying to pull a red because you doped on Shelby being your sports babe. And now you got another dope. I'm watching you now. Jennifer Jo Cobb will make her NASCAR debut at Talladega. Brother Lance, that Charlotte broadcaster's pants were wet after that. Talk about that duck on Clint Caposterized. Vince said, hey, Rev, even Mount Mutamo got dunked on by his airness. That's right. Vince Carter did definitely put some on him. Look at Kelly with the school information showing that State did feature something, as they're not winning football games right now, but they did.
Yeah. At least you know her geography well.
Dion
y'all gonna get off Kelly.
And Joe Black said, I forgot the dope on Wade being part owner of the Utah Jazz. And we're going to talk about that in just a moment. Thank you, Reverend Knights, for showing some dope, nope, and cope love. We really appreciate you all adding to the sports show on today. And we thank y'all for showing Shelby the love that you were showing her. We're going to get all that out the way because now that she's going to be coming on every week, we're not going to be spending a lot of time emphasizing that Shelby's on the show, since y'all know that she will be on every other week. And y'all just pray for Red. Make sure
keep him in your prayers.
Information tight, because Shelby going to call him out. If she knows he hadn't been watching anything, she's going to call him out. So Red, you better come equipped every other week. With that,
Shelby ain't gonna put no fear in me. I'm ready. Let's go.
I hear you. All right. Let's talk basketball. We're starting our basketball talk. Who would ever thought we would be leading with the Atlanta Dream? Raise your hand if you're on this panel and you've been to a Dream game.
I wonder why.
Coach, the only one out of 4 sports gurus on this show have been to Atlanta Dream game, so you already know this is breaking news for us to be starting. Talking about the Atlanta Dream. So the Atlanta Dream, they draft the NCAA March Madness women's darling, Ari McDonald from Arizona, the point guard. That was exciting. And now we want to see, what does that do for the Atlanta Dream? What does that do for the Atlanta Dream attendance? I'm going to start with Shell to give us some commentary on what does it mean to her that the Atlanta Dream drafted one Ari McDonald, point guard from Arizona.
To be fair, I was already going to go to a Dream game because of Renee Montgomery and just everything that she's done for the city. And I think it's time for us to support her. Erin McDonald is a phenomenal player. If you watched her during any of the tournament, she's good. She's short, but that girl got handles. I mean, I would love to see her play all the time. I'm not going to be let me be clear. I'm not going to be a season ticket holder. Not going to do that, but I'll go to a couple of games. I hear it's pretty cool. I don't know. I've never really watched women's basketball. Definitely don't watch WNBA. But it'll be exciting for the city. I think it's somebody we can really gather around and support her. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I don't know much about her. I don't know where she's from. I don't know if she has family here, but moving to Atlanta is not easy when you come from Arizona. I mean, I don't know how many black people Arizona has. I'm sure they have some, but Atlanta is a whole different scene. And so I hope that we embrace her and love on her and just welcome her with open arms. I think it's going to be an exciting time for the Dream. Do they win anything? I don't know, because I don't know anybody else that plays for them, and I have to be honest. But hopefully we'll win. I mean, it'll be great if we can have another championship. I mean, we got the soccer championship, the Hawks. Well, anyway, it'll be nice if we win.
All right, Red, you were shaking your head at times in Shelby's commentary, so please inform us what caused you to shake your head while Shelby was talking.
Well, I'm just surprised. I mean, such a diehard, female lover of sports like Shelby is. I mean, if her interest in the WNBA is where it is, that lets you know why that league is not going anywhere. She's gonna go to a couple of games. She doesn't really watch, but maybe she'll watch now. I mean, if that is
Okay,
she's a
hold
diehard
on.
sports fan.
You don't watch anything that with a woman in it without, unless it's a shoe show. So let's be clear.
You're right. I definitely won't be watching the WNBA, but like yourself, I might take some interest in it now with the girl from Arizona, because, like you say, she was one of women's college basketball's top stars, and my girl in Arizona did coach her up. So I am kind of interested in the fact that the Atlanta Dream did get a star. You know, I don't think they've had one since I think the girl Angel McCoughtry back in the day when the team first came around. Mm-hmm. So, and I think they actually did make a finals, if I'm not mistaken. I think they lost, but I think they did make a finals, if not Eastern Conference finals appearance. So that team did do somewhat well when Angel McCoughtry was leading the way. But for a while, it hasn't been anything. I don't even think Angel's playing anymore. So I guess it's the new era of Atlanta Dream basketball with our new star, Aari McDonald. So I'm kind of interested to see if she can do great things for the team, or at least do what Angel did during her era. So I'll definitely keep my eye on her. But y'all guys know how I feel about the WNBA, but I am definitely happy that we have a new star in Atlanta. So good luck, Aari McDonald. Can't wait, baby.
Coach, what are your thoughts about Aari McDonald coming through the Atlanta Dream?
Well, one thing about her personality as well as her game will intrigue people and get people to come out and watch. Now, the Dream has fallen on hard times in the last couple of years. They have not been playing well. They do okay, but they don't not that team that you look for in the playoffs every year. So hopefully she can give them an extra boost and help them get there. They got some decent players on the team. They got Chennedy Carter that's sent out of Texas A&M, and then they got Courtney Williams. Both of them have been averaging in double figures pretty much every year. But they maybe McDonald, Aari McDonald, don't call me Ari, might be that boost to see if they can get in the playoffs. Are they a contender? Not yet. Not yet. They'll be good fun to watch, but as far as a contender, those teams like Seattle and Chicago and LA, they're still behind them. Could this be a breakthrough year? Well, we just got to wait and see.
Well, you named a bunch of players I had never heard of.
I know.
I only know one player on the Atlanta Dream, and that's the person they drafted just recently. That's how much I pay attention to the WNBA. But I will say the win that the Atlanta Dream got, it may not be wins and losses, but it may be an early win. They are going to get a lot more fans into the seats. You know, I'm already prepared to be a Trinitarian when it comes to the WNBA. I'm going to go to at least 3 games, one for the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. After that, we'll see what happens to see if they can get into my pockets a little bit more. But I'm guaranteeing I'm going to 3 games this year, one for the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. I'm a true Trinitarian, and we'll see where they lie after those 3 games I go to. But I think she's box office. I think she's just what the Atlanta Dream doctor ordered, because one of the things that we enjoyed during her run in the March Madness is her swag. When she had that famous picture where she went like this. That's the kind of flavor that the WNBA needs, especially since we're not going to get the high flying action such as dunking. You're not going to see exceptional athleticism from most players. But Ari McDonald brings swag, she brings grit, she brings heart. And if you're going to play or have a game that's pretty much is focused on below the rim rather than above the rim, we have one of the most exciting below the rim players in the WNBA. And I think it's going to move towards the Atlanta Dream, at least early on, having some good attendance. And if they win, it will add on to it. And I hope that they're able to keep her around for some time to come. And I hope that she can stay healthy, because I think that is what hurt Angel McCoughtry, because she actually led the WNBA to a championship berth. But after that, her injuries got the best of her, and eventually the Atlanta Dream and Angel McCoughtry parted ways. So I'm all in. That was the thing I needed to at least pay somewhat attention to the WNBA. Anybody got any closing comments on this particular section?
The comment section from the Revenites.
Okay, the Revenites. Let's see. No, I'm still going to the Pervy. Oh, boy. Vincent said Angel tried her best to help Aja Wilson in the final last year. McBride and Amberly Fizzle, Liz Cambridge coming back this year.
Angel still playing?
We're going to have to bring some of y'all on to talk WNBA, because we definitely, besides Coach, I don't know if any of us pay attention enough to provide any intelligent sports commentary.
So I thought Angel was long retired.
Nobody care about Las Vegas Aces. We talking about the Atlanta Dream. Nobody care about.
Well, they talking back on Coach. They talking about where Angel McCoughtry went from.
I know.
We want, you somebody else got to be intelligent, because we can't talk intelligent with you because we don't know nobody else. So
I thought Angel was coaching by now. Lord have mercy.
We still playing. All right, so we got our we met our WNBA quota for the year. Let's move on.
You're right about that.
Let's move on. All right, we see NBA new NBA ownership this past week. Who would ever thought A-Rod, the baseball player, would be getting into NBA ownership, where he joined a partnership with an NBA group that has bought the Minnesota Timberwolves, and that ownership group will take over completely in 2023. And then also, as was alluded to in the Dope Note Coat comments, Dwayne Wade has become a minority owner for the Utah Jazz. Coach, I'm going to start with you with this one. What does that mean for the NBA to get sports figures who were very prominent in their respective sports to get into ownership groups?
Well, there's a good thing that they are minority owners, but as far as A-Rod, one of his soon-to-be players, Anthony Edwards, said, "Who is that?" He didn't know who he was. So A-Rod, but Anthony Edwards, ain't no Ant-Man is young.
You talking about Georgia's finest?
Yeah,
I told y'all to stop saying that about him.
UGA's finest didn't know who A-Rod was?
No, that is Therrell's finest. That is Therrell's finest.
But
he didn't even make the tournament, man. You can't get him that.
Dwayne Wade in Utah, that's kind of an odd. I don't know how that came about. I got to do more information on that. But that was kind of an odd pairing. But Dwayne Wade, hey, he's going to bring some people there, and he's going to bring some publicity to him because namesake only now.
I don't know if we could bring that transgenderism to Utah. I don't know if they're going to take too kind to that. The Mormons.
No.
Hey, the Mormons, I'm just saying that the Mormons are heavily populated in City, so I don't know about that.
I'm trying to be a good boy over here. I thought that was gonna be off topic, but since you brought it up, okay.
Nah, I mean it's a real reality. You know, Salt Lake City is heavily populated with Mormons, and Mormons are very conservative. So
I definitely.
It's probably good that he's the minority owner. I don't know how they would take to his liberal beliefs if he were the majority owner. But I'll be quiet. Go ahead, Coach. Were you finished? I'm sorry for bombarding your segment.
No, that I agree with it. That's why I said it's kind of an odd that he would try to get to be minority owner in Utah of all the cities instead of Miami or somewhere. He picks Utah. That's kind of interesting to find out that dynamic. Oh Lord, get Thomas off there. Get him out there.
He said he would do.
I needed a sweater.
Go ahead, man.
Give it to somebody else.
The comments.
Go ahead, Red. Jump in there, Red.
It's the comments.
Okay. First of all, as far as Sugar Pops having a minority stake in the team in Utah Jazz, look, I agree with Rev. I have no idea why Sugar Pops taking his money to the Utah area. Okay, dude, Coach is right. You would have been better off going to maybe the Warriors, maybe the Heat, maybe to another town that's not like Utah. But hey, you want to take your Sugar Pop lifestyle up there, go right ahead. When they try to get you off their team, don't be surprised, D-Wade, okay? Now, as far as Anthony Edwards, not knowing who his new owner, A-Rod, is, what's my boy name? Ant-Man, do me a favor. Google, dog. Google Jennifer Lopez, J-Lo. You see that little weirdo sitting next to her in some of the award shows or walking next to her looking weird all the time for the past few months? That's A-Rod. That's your new owner. Or you can just Google the New York Yankees, you know what I'm saying? So, dude, I don't know what cave you've been living in, but you should at least have heard of A-Rod. I know you got basketball all on your mind, but come on now. We're talking about Alex Rodriguez. You should at least have heard of him. Now, as far as him owning the Minnesota Timberwolves, hey, I guess he got to do something now that J-Lo don't dump this. But I mean, I guess that's the next rebound right there. So good luck, A-Rod. You finally got what you wanted. You wanted ownership in the team. I'm sure.
Does anybody else wonder why Red knows about everybody else's love life? Last time it was Aaron Rodgers. Now it's A-Rod. I mean, I'm just asking a question. I'm just asking questions.
I was thinking the same thing because I forgot who it was. But Red sure be paying attention to other people's relationships, boy. I tell you.
Dude,
and he's also upset about
Are you vicariously living through these sports athletes, man?
No, he's also upset about Ryan going back to General Hospital. And I was like, wow.
That's a whole other topic now.
Anyway,
let's leave.
I just wanted to ask a question. I just wanted to interject. Wanted to ask a question. Continue on.
You see what Vincent said. Red is the TMZ of the Reddit friends.
Well, anyway, let me get back to giving y'all the info, okay?
Go ahead.
A-Rod and J-Lo broke up, and now A-Rod has bought stake in the Minnesota Timberwolves, okay? So that is his rebound. So congratulations, T-Wolves. You are the rebound from J-Lo, okay? But anyway, I real talk, I love athletes taking their money, using it wisely, investing in sports teams. That's oh Lord. All you want to know what said.
Not the All My Children reference.
No, that was General Hospital.
General Hospital. Yeah, my bad. I'm thinking about Angie and
First of all, okay, you want to go there, Vince? Let's go there. Why would I be mad? The wedding came off with a hit, so I'm not mad at all. Congratulations to Luke and Laura. Okay, anyway.
Go ahead.
Anyway, but I don't mind these athletes taking their hard-earned sports money and investing it wisely. If I was one of them, I'd probably try to see about minority stake too. Now, major stake. You see what you started, Shelby? God.
No, it's a comment.
I'm moving on. Go ahead, Shelby and Ray.
Okay.
I'm done.
I'm sorry. I'm in tears right now.
J-Lo collected more reasons.
That one got me. Oh
my
God. Literally in tears.
Show going. Get Thomas off there.
Oh my goodness. Thomas is a fool, man. Thomas is a fool. Oh man. We haven't laughed this much at this soon on the show in a long time. Goodness. Thomas is letting us have it today, boy. If you developed your composure, what are your thoughts about A-Rod and D-Wade?
My thoughts about D-Wade are really odd because I have a dear friend who's Polynesian, went to Georgia with me, played volleyball, and she is a congresswoman or something out there in Utah. I also had a girl in my class who called us colored from Utah. And we were like, can you please not call us colored? And she was like, well, I don't see colored people. Like, okay, really don't need you to stop using colored. So that kind of shocked me. And I have to agree with Rev, like, because of their lifestyle, it just doesn't fit the Utah brand. Utah is very family oriented. Like you said, they're Mormons. They are very conservative. And D-Wade and Gabrielle Union are not conservative by any stretch of the imagination. So that was kind of an interesting move. I guess maybe he didn't have enough money to buy Miami, or there wasn't a group out there to buy him. Whatever. I don't think it's going to work just because of their lifestyle. For Minnesota, that was a little bit different. I think A-Rod just wants to be an owner. Last year, he and J-Lo tried to buy the Mets or tried to get into an ownership with the Mets. That didn't work out. So I think he just wants an additional revenue stream, like people like to say. I don't think he knows anything about basketball. It's odd. He doesn't have. I don't know if he knows anything about Minnesota. And yes, Kelly. Yeah, she called us colored. This was 1996 or 1997. And so that was kind of a weird one. I don't know why he doesn't go with the Yankees or try to get in with the Yankees because he's so well known. And nothing Ant-Man does surprises me. Again, that is Therrell's own, not UGA's own. They stopped giving him that. He did not get a degree.
Whoa. Oh my God.
Throwing shade at Anthony Edwards. Now, let me ask you this. Would you have changed your thought process about Anthony Edwards if he had brought home a national basketball championship to UGA?
Maybe.
Yeah.
But he's still illiterate. You winning a championship doesn't change the fact that you can't read.
But right now, he's reading them zeros on that check.
I hope so. He'll be broke in a couple years.
Yeah, but I'll say this in terms of new NBA ownerships. I think it is definitely setting a trend for what these players can get into after they finish their careers. That's the one exciting thing that I'm seeing about it. Also, it's probably helping some of these guys not to spend their money frivolous, especially since they have an opportunity to be minority owners. So that's going to probably allow some of these guys to be better stewards over the money that they're granted. So I think that we have some more to look forward to. I want to thank Magic and like LeBron for kind of setting that tone for a lot of these players to think long-term rather than the short-term, because the amount of money that these guys are making now, if they invest it well, they can definitely accrue a lot of money that could position themselves to do a lot of great things when it comes to ownership and being minority owners. And soon some of these guys can pool their money together because they're making so much money and even become majority owners and be their own ownership group. So I think this is one of the greatest things that I'm seeing. You know, as I said earlier, and to the points that Shelby made about people who live in Utah, I don't know how long this would last, and hopefully for Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union's sake, they may not have to go to Utah. Maybe they can do everything that they need to do virtually, but I don't see how Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union, if they spent extensive time in Utah, how they would feel comfortable in that environment. Because as my mother alluded to a few minutes ago in her tape, that she said something along the line that, here it is, Mormons only consider African Americans to be fully human, in the last 30 years. So if they have issues with just black people in general, think about what kind of issues that they will have with a liberal black person. So maybe Dwayne Wade got in, and you know how some people like to flip houses. Maybe he's going to flip this ownership minority piece and sell his share to somebody else in the days to come. But nevertheless, that's my take. Red, you had your Baptist finger up, even though you don't go to the Baptist church too often. But I will say you did tune in to my Baptist church 2 weeks ago, at least for a little while. I don't know how long, but you did come in on the Easter service. You had your Baptist finger up.
Oh, CME, a regular CME.
You know what that is, Red? You know what a CME is?
What is it?
Christmas, Mother's Day, and Easter.
That's when you go to church.
Nope.
Well, what I wanted to add to now that Glenn Taylor is not the owner of Minnesota Timberwolves anymore, is a good thing, because now maybe Kevin Garnett will come back to the franchise. You know, they had a little issue, and he said he wasn't going to be associated with the franchise as long as Glenn Taylor was owner. I don't think he has a problem with A-Rod. So it'd probably be good to welcome Kevin Garnett back into the T-Wolves fold.
Well, just to Derek Jones' point, when Derek, we mentioned LeBron the week that happened, him being a part of the Boston Red Sox ownership group. So, well, that's kind of old news, but yeah, we just talking about the fresh news.
We mentioned that a month ago.
Yeah.
Well, everybody don't watch you every week.
Ooh.
Yeah, well, that may be their
Red.
problem, Shelby. That may be their problem.
Oh yeah, you're right. Sorry, Shelby.
People have other things to do. They watch
They-
Red all week.
They got to put our show as a top priority so they won't make statements.
Yeah.
If you don't watch, you might want to just relax. But whatever. But nevertheless, who said, what did he say? I'm just
Did
I feel hey.
said pastel suit.
Hey, see the pillow back.
Oh,
Yeah,
Derek Jones just got empowered. Shelby, you just blessed somebody to know what CME means. All right, Derek Jones is part of the red regimen of churchgoing, if you didn't know what CME meant. But it's all good. Derek Jones, thanks for tuning in, brother. Thank you so much. All right, let's move on. Next, the Atlanta Hawks report. So we'll start with Red. Red, what kind of report did you have for us with the Atlanta Hawks?
Well, it's been a pretty good week. Been a pretty good month. I mean, pretty much whatever I said last week, just throw it on to this week, except for that loss to the Milwaukee Bucks. But the Hawks, the Hawks really have been undermanned for the past few weeks now. I mean, we beat the Hornets without 7 guys. We beat the game we played Tuesday. I think that was the Raptors. We were missing another 7 guys. Go up against the Bucks. We're missing guys in that game. Trae Young didn't have his best game. I still think he's still hurt from that calf injury. But look, I'm loving how my Hawks playing. They're back to being a competitive team that they were coming into the season anticipating to be. The coaching change has worked out tremendously. Honestly, I think we got the Pacers coming up. And honestly, we just sitting back trying to get players healthy, man. Bogdan Bogdanovic has really been stepping his game up big time. In addition to Clint, I don't know what Nathan Knight was doing shooting all them threes the other night. Oh, dude, you ain't no 3-point shooter. Keep yourself inside that paint. Stay in the post. Make plays that way. Lead the perimeter shoot to Lou, Herder, Bogdanovic. And boy, do we need my boy Gallinari back. But like I say, I'm still liking the direction we're going. We're still 4th place in the East, tied with Boston, but we on the tiebreaker. So Hawks just need to keep the consistency going. I guess I can bring up my hot topic to Shelby now.
Hold on, right quick. Before you go to the hot topic, I want to tease out some things, and then also we want to give Coach an opportunity.
Oh yeah, sorry, Coach.
Before you go right in the Shelby. So you mentioned that the Hawks are having a tremendous season with Uncle Nate, as you call him, as the head coach, and Vincent Woodruff was asking you, is Nate still Uncle Nate, Ray?
Is he still Uncle Nate?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's still Uncle Nate.
Okay. All right. So with that being said, what are the benchmarks for the Hawks having a tremendous season when it's all said and done? Is it just making the playoffs? And we know that the Hawks haven't made the playoffs in a few years now. Is it advancing in the playoffs? So what would constitute a tremendous season when it's all said and done for the Atlanta Hawks this season?
Well, it don't change. I'll tell you that. At the beginning of the season, everybody was saying, well, we want to make the playoffs. We want to see the team to improve. We want to see the team improving, and we want to have a spot in the postseason. But since Uncle Nate took over, my expectations, and I'm pretty sure a few Hawks expectations have changed. Right now, I'm expecting to make the playoffs. Right now, I'm expecting to be the 4th or 5th seed in the Eastern playoffs. Right now, hopefully, when the playoffs begin, I have my team at full strength, and I'm hoping to win a round in the playoffs. And then we'll take it from there. Because the one thing about the East playoffs, you just never know how that can turn out. Those are my expectations. Do I have higher expectations? We'll see. But I do expect to make the playoffs, top 5 seed, and to win a round. And we all know with one injury here, one bad performance there, who knows how it may shape up in the Eastern Conference. The Eastern Conference is always one bad injury or one bad performance or one bad choke job away from a team that you never saw coming advancing. Nobody saw the Heat in the NBA Finals last year. I'm not saying the Hawks are as good as the Heat, but like I say, you make the playoffs, anything's possible.
All right, Coach, jump in there. What are your thoughts about what Red had to share? Do you have any additional thoughts about the Hawks?
Just looking at the schedule, as somebody say right now, if the Hawks played the Celtics Red in the first round, would they get by them?
Celtics?
Yep.
I would take the Hawks over the Celtics. Might go 7 games, but I would take them over the Celtics.
Then they may have to play the Bucks. Do they get by the Bucks?
That's a different question. I would have to see, are the Bucks at full strength? I mean, because we don't know what's going on with Giannis and his knee. I mean, yeah, he came back and played against the Hawks. It was on TNT, and of course, it was against the Hawks, so he probably felt he had some type of advantage. But we'll see. And the Bucks are known to be playoff chokers. So should they get past the Bucks? No, but we'll see. I wouldn't expect them to, but I would definitely be cheering for them too.
Who was in the finals last year in the East?
The Miami Heat.
Against who?
The Eastern Conference Finals?
Yeah.
Boston.
But the Bucks.
Celtics, right?
Boston.
Well,
It was Boston, right?
Boston.
Okay.
Yeah.
Boston and Heat.
Okay. Because I'm just looking at the potential of opponents that the Hawks could play coming up when they make playoffs. They're gonna make playoffs, and I don't see them if they have that big a slide, then it's gonna be rough on them.
I mean, Uncle Nate ain't gonna be back in.
Coach, you're being very professorial.
Yeah, I thought he'd get to a point or something, trying to see where he's going with
So
this.
in essence, are you saying that you don't believe the Hawks would be beating the Boston Celtics in the first round?
Oh no, I just when you talk about the expectations, I'm thinking you all are thinking, oh, not you all, but Red, you thinking they're gonna get past the first round? I mean, the second round?
It would be the first round. It would be.
Yeah, I think I expect them to get past the first round. The second round is up in the air because I don't even know who they would be playing. If we talking about the East playoffs, Coach, anything can happen in the East, but I would expect them to get past the first round now.
So you have confidence in Nate McMillan, but you don't think they can get past the second round?
Well, I will be cheering for them too, but I'm just not gonna come straight out and say.
I'm saying thinking. You have confidence in Nate. You keep talking about, so why can't they get past the second round?
Well, they can. I'll be riding for them too all the way. I'm gonna ride my team till we get eliminated.
All right, let me interject real quick. Let's add Shelby into the equation. Shelby, do you see the Hawks advancing past the first round?
I hope they do, but they don't have any veteran leadership on that team. You don't have any players who've been there before. And you mess around and you end up with Eugene Robinson going to the strip club night before the Super Bowl again.
Oh, my God. You had to bring him up.
Listen, it happened. We don't have anybody. We don't have anybody who can sit them down and say, listen, this is the playoff. This is different. Sometimes you need that veteran leadership, and they don't have it. And Sometimes they act like children. Like
What,
Trae
what
Young
about
getting mad.
what about Lou Williams, Shelby? Sweet
Lou
Lou.
Williams gonna be at the strip club getting the wing platter. We know where he gonna
bad
be.
example. Bad example.
We know where Lou's gonna be. And you know what? If he's okay with it, he comes back and plays. I mean, so you have to give him that. But
Why did I bring him
I
up?
don't know.
So
I don't know.
let me pose a question. Let me pose a question to the panel. So it looks like the Hawks will be playing the Boston Celtics in the first round. Who do you trust more? What trio do you trust more? Do you and with the coach, do you trust Uncle Nate with Trae, Clint Capella, and let's add Collins? Or do you trust Brad Stevens with Kemba Walker, Jason Tatum, and Jaylen Brown?
Man, see, I trust certain pieces on each side. You know, I don't trust all of the pieces together. I trust Jaylen Brown and what's the other guy with the J? The other guy,
Jason Tatum.
Yeah, Jason Tatum. I trust those two. Kemba, no, you ain't proved nothing in the playoffs. The coach, not really, dude, because you don't have plenty of chances to get this team over the hump, and you fail time and time again. So I trust the two stars. As far as on the Hawks side, I trust Uncle Nate, even though he's had his own playoff failures. The other guys, Rev, they really, to be fair, they really had, like Shep said, they haven't been there. So this would be all new to them. So I can't really say I trust them because they haven't been there before. Whereas my other two guys, they've at least been to the Eastern Finals. So of course, Boston will have the advantage from the outside looking in this round. But me, I'm riding my Hawks to the end, baby.
Coach, you had some whats to what Red had to say. So please let us know what you're whatting about.
So you saying Stevens McMillan is a better coach than Stevens?
No, not that. But I mean, Stevens don't have plenty of opportunity to get his team over the hump, and he's failed.
And Nate, what about Nate?
So I'm not really gonna say I'm going to the playoffs with him. Nate, well, this Nate first year with this team. Stevens don't been with the Celtics for what, about 3-4 years, 5 years now, and like I said, they keep getting there, but keep failing to get over the hump. We've yet to see where Nate is taking this Hawks team yet. Even though he's had playoff failures himself in Indiana and Portland. But it's a new team. Got to give him a fair chance.
I guarantee you just answered my question right there. 10 out of 10 people, if you put those trios up against each other, would take the Boston trio over the Atlanta trio off. Just what you just said. Nate hadn't had these guys.
Yeah, Boston got this game.
All right, I'm definitely taking the Boston. Red will be an awful witness on the stage. That's funny right there. But I don't think
we're trying to have a sports show here, man.
And let me say this before. Hello to Kelly's twin, Kimberly. Let's show Kimberly some love. Kelly's twin, what's going on, Kimberly? Please come and share with us as your sister does frequently. We invite you to do that, and we're glad that you did come today. Truly, thank you so much. Vincent Woodruff, whole courtroom.
Hey, I said Boston has the advantage, but I can't. Y'all want me to dog my boys out? I can't do that. See my Hawks, man.
You have to
I
tell
can't just completely dog.
You have to tell the truth.
Yeah, that's the
truth.
That's the thing.
Some have the advantage.
Suspect. The Hawks. I love the Hawks. Well, no, let me get that straight. I don't love the Hawks. I will watch the game. The Hawks are suspect. They've never been there. I would not put the Hawks up against Jason Tatum.
Right.
Jason Tatum has been there.
He's
a proven leader.
Yeah.
You can't put him. Again, do I want the Hawks to win? Of course. It'd be great. We're not going to get a championship, but hey, let's win something. But the Hawks are suspect. You can't in a 7-game series, they can win 2, maybe 3, but 4. And if it goes 7 games, we know what Lou gonna be the night before. He gonna be tired. Right. You can't use you can't be at the strip club all night and then come play.
See, this is why Shelby, once we get into football season, is going to come in second place when we start predicting the games. Because second place. Yeah, second place. This is why it's normally the Rev Invitational. I got the most championships. This is why she's going to come in second place, because she knows how to be objective about her team. That's probably coach sometimes about the Steelers. Thankfully, they had a good year this year, so that he didn't have a lot of L's in the loss column. And then also, thankfully, USC didn't play half of their games. That's why he was able to win the championship for college, because he doesn't know how to disassociate fandom.
Exactly.
And Red, you have a problem with that. It took the Falcons to just be horrible for you to finally get there. The Hawks, we're happy that they're making the playoffs, but you can't use on one end, Kemba Walker doesn't have any experience, and he hadn't done it in the playoffs, and then Trae Young ain't played a minute in the playoffs. John Collins hasn't played a minute in the playoffs.
Surprise angle. I'd rather go with the surprise angle than the guy who I know ain't gonna do nothing.
No, but Kemba Walker has some playoff experience. I mean, let's not act like he was just a complete bum in the bubble last year. They made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. He did something in the Eastern Conference Finals. Trae Young ain't done nothing in the NBA playoffs. We haven't seen him play a second. We haven't seen John Collins. You would be better off saying Clint Capella, but we know Clint Capella's just done stuff defensively in the playoffs with the Houston Rockets, has done absolutely nothing offensively besides catching alley-oops, right? So at the end of the day, when we look at Jason Tatum, who in his rookie season went toe-to-toe with LeBron James, and Jaylen Brown has that kind of experience, and Kemba has more experience than John Collins and Trae Young put together, and then Brad Stevens got way more playoff credibility than Uncle Nate. I don't remember him leading when he coached the Seattle Supersonics and the Portland Trailblazers and the Indianapolis Pacers. I don't ever remember him advancing too far in the playoffs. And Brad Stevens has gone to two Eastern Conference championships, two Eastern Conference championship finals. So I don't know how you can give the edge to the Hawks if we're talking about what they have done in the past. And we don't even know what the Hawks will look like in the playoffs. If we're going on what is paper on what the paper says, what experience says, it's hands down the Boston Celtics. Even though we can want to hope that the Hawks will win because we are living in the Atlanta metro area, the reality is they don't have nowhere near the experience that the Boston Celtics coaches.
Again. Now, did y'all not hear me say that I did give Boston the advantage that I was just...
Hold on, Red. This is hilarious.
Man, I'm trying to focus on my response, and I got to look at Vince and he's still coming. I'm trying to stay focused, man.
I trust the water from Flint, Michigan more than I do.
All right. You see, y'all can make me put the Laker hat back on now, man. I try to give my Hawks some love, try to show I ain't completely forgot about them. And here I go, everybody dogging them out left and right. But God, I might well get back to dogging them out too then.
Well, no, I think one thing is not dogging them out. I don't think we're dogging them out. We're just bringing sports
analogy. Right. I feel what y'all saying.
To the equation. And you can't say the Hawks have any type of edge over the Celtics when we look at
not when the playoffs. You're right, when the playoffs start, just like what I said last week, if they had to play the Heat, it'll be a different story when the playoffs start. But I'm hoping they soaking all this experience up these close games that they playing because they're gonna need them when the playoffs start. So.
All right, we're gonna take a quick station break right here.
What out? Okay, don't get me started on you, Kelly.
All right, we're gonna take a quick station break right here. We're gonna declare right now this is halftime, and we'll come back on the other side to talk some shows. I think we need some time to recover after all those laughs, because man, we had some good stuff. All right,
this might go down as one of the funniest shows ever right here.
Hands down, no doubt about it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, This is halftime of the Red and Red Sports Show featuring Coach and with our guest Shelby. We're coming back talking some more, a little bit more basketball, more baseball, and some football. Hang out with us for one more half of the Red and Red Sports Show. We'll be back in just a moment. After such a first half of laughter, I mean, I haven't laughed that much in so long. Those last two takes, Trae Young's hair couldn't survive a second round.
Man, seriously, he need to do something with that. We got plenty of barber. We got a barber in his own stadium, dude. Fix that, seriously. And we ain't gonna talk about that McDonald's outfit he had on the other night. Oh
man, the Reverend Knights are in rare form today. I tell you, this is a classic episode. We will never forget episode 185. They are bringing the heat with the comedy. What was Red doing before halftime?
Oh, okay. I see what you're doing, girl. Go try to add her comments to everybody else on the cloud.
Wait.
I thought that was Miss Harris that said that. I just saw the S. I said, look at Miss Harris. Yeah. Okay.
What was he doing, Chef, man? I walked away. What was he doing?
It was awful. It was looked like his Chippendale moves or something. I don't know. It's bad.
Not a Chippendale move.
You wouldn't even get hired in Chippendales. What are you talking?
Well, we know you would.
Hey, what was Thomas talking about? Look what Thomas
was
so quick.
Turns on TV. Wow, bareback twerk.
Oh my God, man. Y'all funny, man.
This dude here, man.
Welcome back, Shelby.
Oh man. Shelby can't unsee that.
I can't.
She was watching what was going on behind the scenes. All right. Let's move on. All right. Let's go back. Let's talk about some sports retirements as we start this second half. We know that in football, Julian Edelman has hung up his cleats. Wide receiver for the New England Patriots, helped them win several of their championships. And then LaMarcus Aldridge, after being bought out by the San Antonio Spurs, he signs with the Brooklyn Nets, had a good run for 2 weeks. And then he discovered an irregular heartbeat that scared him. And for the sake of his own health and also to be here with his family, he elected to retire just a couple of days ago. From the standpoint of what do you say about their careers, that's kind of where I want you all to address it from. And then I'll pose another question. When you think about the career first of Julian Edelman, what do you think about? And then the career of LaMarcus Aldridge, what do you think about? I'm going to start with Shelby. Shelby, what are your thoughts about Julian Edelman, the football player, and LaMarcus Aldridge, the basketball player?
There was nothing else left for Julian Edelman to do. You've won multiple championships. Go out when people want you to go out. I mean, they want you to stay. Don't limp off the field. And I don't like him. I mean, he was with the Patriots. Why would I like him? And he beat the Falcons. But there was nothing else left for him to do in his career. I wish him well. Good luck.
And LaMarcus Aldridge?
I feel badly for him because I feel like he had a lot to give. He had a lot left. He had a good career. I wish he could have stayed. I hate that it's his health, but we have to. I think that's something that, especially we in the Black community, we don't do a lot is take care of our health, and we don't put our health first. And in this case, he not only put his health, but his family first. So good luck to him. And I hope that it's something that that he can hopefully regulate, maybe with medicine or whatever. But I hope he's well. And I hope that it doesn't lead to more problems down the line.
All right, Coach, jump in there. What are your thoughts about Julian Edelman's career and LaMarcus Aldridge's career?
You know, I see a lot of people pointing Edelman toward the Hall of Fame. I would respectfully decline. I would say, like somebody say, he's Hall of Very Good. He was a linchpin in those New England Patriots offenses for Tom Brady. He was integral in helping him win some championships because it seemed like he would always get open at the right time to extend the game and help win the game for the Patriots. You know, he was that receiver. He made those plays, and he had a very good career. Like I said, Hall of Fame, no. I would say, like I said, Hall of Very Good. As far as Aldridge, I kind of think that Pop, and it's just me, knew something or found out or got something because he didn't play Aldridge as much down the line. Maybe I don't know if there was something discovered and he decided to try to save his career or help him out by not playing him as much.
But let me interject right there, Coach. I think it was simply that Aldridge wanted out.
You think
he wanted to compete, and the Spurs were not in position to compete.
Mm-hmm. And you look at him, and every time I think about a Hart, I think about Hank Gathers, who kept playing regardless, despite. And I'm glad that Aldridge found a way to discover it, just like with they ain't on the same level, but the LeVert kid who found out he had an issue just by going to the doctor, you know. And I'm glad that Aldridge was able to retire on his own terms. Now he has a family. He can live his life. I know it hurts you can't play basketball anymore, but it was going to come to an end sometime. So glad he got out and was able to find that out before something may have happened that we didn't want to happen.
Brett, jump in there. Your thoughts about Edelman and Aldridge's career?
My thoughts on Julian Edelman. Like I say, he's a former college quarterback turned NFL wide receiver. He was Tom Brady's security blankets for a number of years, multiple championship winner. Of course, you know, I'll never forget him for the play he made against my Falcons when he caught the ball that should have hit the ground. Somebody could have easily intercepted one of the huge plays in Super Bowl 51, but he made the play. And like I say, he was Tom Brady's security blanket for many years. But it was time to retire. Brady's not in New England anymore, and he had his best seasons playing under Tom Brady. If he's not going to Tampa Bay, you might as well hang him up. His career is not Hall of Fame worthy. Maybe not even Hall of Very Good, but Hall of Good. I mean, he was good. Tom Brady made him more than he possibly would have been had he been in another system and another team. So congratulations on a good career, Edelman. I wish you luck. As far as LaMarcus Aldridge goes, sad to see a player leave when he's going out for health reasons, but at least he's doing the right thing. Like Shelby said, us as black men, us as black people, definitely us as black men, definitely neglect our health at various times in our life, and it's good to see this brother taking his health as a priority. He was one of the great inside ball players. He was probably better for the previous era than the era we have now, of just shooting threes and then, dunking, and then inside game is at the last resort. But he's definitely one of the great inside post players of his generation. Definitely one of the standouts of those Portland teams. His career never really took off that much when he left Portland and went to San Antonio. Yeah, maybe one good season, one good playoff run with the Spurs. I remember my Lakers were trying hard to get him. I'm kind of glad that we didn't at this moment, because we probably still have his salary on the books. But he really wasn't the player he once was when he got the Nets. He did have that one good game a few weeks ago, but obviously he realized his health is more important than a championship ring. So I'm giving him props for taking his health into consideration. I applaud him. I wish him nothing but the best. He had a very, very respectable career, and good luck to him.
All right, I think the consensus is, when it comes to Julian Edelman, is that he's not a Hall of Famer. I think that's the consensus. Matter of fact, I think Thomas Hogan said he's not even Hall of Mirrors. All right. But I will say that when I look at Julian Edelman's career, he reminds me of Robert Horry, clutch. You know how Robert Horry is definitely not a Hall of Famer, but he has some great clutch moments in his career. And I think that's how I look at Julian Edelman's career, as just being very clutch. I think it's disrespectful to talk about Julian Edelman going to the Hall of Fame and not talk about Hines Ward going into the Hall of Fame before him. Hines Ward's numbers are so much better than Julian Edelman's. It's not even funny. So any Hall of Fame talk needs to cease, because that would be a classic example of sports white privilege if Edelman gets in before Hines Ward, when Hines Ward numbers obliterates Julian Edelman.
He'll never get in real.
So with that being said, let's turn to LaMarcus Aldridge. Is he an NBA Hall of Famer? Now, none of us can really recall any great moments, any key moments where he's had some key victories in the playoffs to advance his respective teams. If it's Portland, if it's the San Antonio Spurs. Now, we know that you don't necessarily have to be very successful in the playoffs to become and let's remember, it's the Basketball Hall of Fame in basketball and not the NBA Hall of Fame, because the NFL is the NFL Hall of Fame. So let's remember that when we talk about Hall of Fame for basketball. And LaMarcus Aldridge only played 1 year at Texas. All right. Did not win much in Texas. So a reason why I bring that up when we start talking about this Hall of Fame talk, because Tracy McGrady is in the Hall of Fame and did absolutely nothing in the playoffs. So I think that's something that we need to consider when we have this conversation about LaMarcus Aldridge. With those things being said, and putting a context to the Basketball Hall of Fame, is LaMarcus Aldridge a Basketball Hall of Famer after looking at his 15-year career? Who wants at it first?
Oh, I can jump right in there. Yeah, he is. You read my exact mind. If Tracy McGrady can get in, who did absolutely nothing in a playoff format, LaMarcus Aldridge has more numbers than he does. I mean, 7-time All-Star. I'm looking at it right now. 7-time All-Star, 19 points, 8.2 rebounds. That's Hall of Fame worthy, because he got better numbers than a lot of Hall of Famers. So, yeah, why not him?
All right, Coach is stamped LaMarcus Aldridge ticket to the to the Basketball Hall of Fame. Shelby, your eyes are telling me you may not feel the same way.
I mean, if Tracy McGrady can get in, I can get in. I mean, let's be clear. I mean, Tracy McGrady was cool. He was fun to watch, but a lot of times he was on his back due to his back issues. Based on that analogy, everybody should get in, because Tracy McGrady, I mean, I love to watch him. I love to watch him play. I love to watch him and Vince Carter go at it, because they were cousins, and that was a cute, little fun story. But yeah, put him in. If Tracy McGrady can get in, Red can get in.
All right, Red, future Basketball Hall of Famer. Is LaMarcus Aldridge a Basketball Hall of Fame?
He probably shouldn't be, but like Coach Shelby said, I mean, if McGrady got in, and some of these other cats looking to get in and think they have a shot to get in, why not LaMarcus Aldridge? I mean, personally, I don't think he is a Hall of Famer, but like you say, the standards to get in the Basketball Hall of Fame are a little bit lower than the Baseball or Football Hall of Fame. It seems like they're just putting anybody in these days. So LaMarcus did have some playoff success, more than McGrady. 7-time All-Star. I think he made 5 All-NBA teams, never a first team though. So am I right, Coach? I know you got his stats up. He didn't make a first team, right?
Yeah, he a 7-time All-Star.
No, I said All-NBA.
First team.
I don't think he did, but I think he was a 5-time All-NBA player, 2 times second team, 3 times third team. Look, see, we all keep going back to that McGrady factor. If McGrady got in with what he didn't do, I personally don't see how you keep LaMarcus Aldridge out. I mean, 15-year career, dude had some nice playoff stats and some decent playoff runs. He never got to the finals, but hey, McGrady never got out the first round. So put him in. Put him in.
Yeah, and I'm going to be making unanimous because of the lower standard that the Basketball Hall of Fame has. You know, you could definitely put him in. He hadn't won anything, but obviously you don't have to win anything to go into the Basketball Hall of Fame. So, as Thomas says, if McGrady got in, it should be a smooth and Lance says Aldridge will get in. Eventually, players have gotten in with lower stats than both Aldridge, and McGrady, as Coach alluded to. I don't necessarily think he'll be a first ballot Hall of Famer, but I definitely believe he'll be a Hall of Famer. Let me just pose this question real quickly, and we'll move to the Braves report. Do you believe Chris Bosh should get in before LaMarcus Aldridge?
Yeah. Because of the two rings.
Yeah.
And he had more All-Star selections than Aldridge, and he probably had more All-NBA selections than Aldridge. Now, they both are similar type players. The game is similar, but you got to give Bosh credit. He was a member of those 2 championship Heat squads. Aldridge never got over the hump, and they're gonna put that in consideration.
Okay, and Shelby, you agree with Red right there?
Yeah, because he got 2 championships. Granted, he didn't do. I mean, he was just on the team. I don't know what all he did. It's kind of like I still remember when the Miami Heat had this big thing, and I was like, why is Chris Bosh there? Like, y'all chose him? Okay, he'll make it in. He'll make it in. He'll probably be a first ballot because of the 2 championships.
Well, no, Bosh has already been rejected.
Yeah. He already
bless his heart.
He had an opportunity to go in the same year as KG and Kobe, and he didn't make it.
Oh, no, you can't. First of all, Kobe should go in alone.
Yes, thank you.
Kobe should go in by himself. There shouldn't have been anybody else with Kobe since he died. Nobody else should have gone in that year. I'm sorry.
What? Thank you, babe.
Nobody else should. First of all, don't ever call me that again. Okay. Kobe should. I just feel like that was.
I see your hearing still works. I'm glad you interrupt your little moment to tell me not to call you that. Don't worry, I won't.
I could just
reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a
reach out and touch. But no, I don't think Kobe. I think Kobe should have gone in alone. That's just my personal opinion. Just because the fact that he passed away, and it would have just been great if he had gone in by himself.
Now, Coach, you've been whatting all week, all day. So what's your what spirit saying this time?
So you mean to tell me that Kobe, just because he died, he should have gone in by himself?
Yes.
Oh, no. And then you got
Tim whole ceremony need to be about him. Make the whole ceremony.
Like Tim Duncan and Kevin Garnett. You don't.
I mean, they gonna go in with him.
They go in next year.
Oh gosh, please.
I think
we have this.
I think they did a lot for Kobe.
Not enough.
If we're going to be honest about it, if we're going to be really honest about this, and I know this could be another discussion for another day, it's somewhat a blessing in disguise, the flowers that Kobe got.
Yes.
Because of when he died.
Mm-hmm.
If Kobe had stayed alive longer, there would not be such all this grandeur for his career, because we know Red, but it would like LeBron would have eclipsed his career. It wouldn't even been funny how much LeBron would eclipse Kobe.
My gosh.
You know, so I think the
I know,
NBA.
Coach.
I think the NBA did more than enough. The players, you know, honoring Kobe with the 8-second violations and the 24-second violations. I think that was enough. The wonderful celebration that they had at the Staples Center was awesome. The memorial that the fans put out in front of the Staples Center, that was remarkable. But when we start talking about other players, such as Tim Duncan, who had a better career overall than Kobe Bryant, not being able to be he was boring, but he had a better career. I mean, it's just, it is what it is. If you're saying someone who had a better career should just have to wait, who's a first ballot Hall of Famer so that Kobe could go in, that's absolutely ridiculous. All right. I can see KG may having to wait, but not Tim Duncan. Not the one who had a better career than Kobe.
Okay, we'll let Duncan in at the same time, but KG gotta wait. Duncan and Kobe can go in together.
All right.
1 hour for Duncan, 1 hour for Kobe, a 2-hour ceremony. That's it.
All right. We're gonna move on from the sports retirements, and we'll be looking forward to seeing LaMarcus Aldridge be a basketball Hall of Fame at some point. All right, let's get into our Braves report. No tomahawk and chopping. All right. My fault. I got the Braves report. This is the Braves report, not the Hawks report. All right. So what do we got Braves wise? I'm gonna start with Red, and then we'll go to Shelby, and then Coach, if you got anything to add, feel free. Let's talk. Shelby alluded to the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde nature of the Atlanta Braves earlier in her Coke moment, where the Braves have lost 4, won 4, lost 4. Now they're on a 2-game winning streak. They getting swept by the Marlins on Thursday. And then they beat the Chicago Cubs yesterday afternoon and play the Cubs again today in the afternoon and tomorrow night. So, Red, what do you have to offer us with this Braves report?
Are you hungry?
Well, like you said, we don't have pretty much we was an up and down bipolar week, mostly down. We just got up the last 2 games. The pitching has been really disappointing for us this week. If it wasn't bad starting performances, we had good starting performances, and the bullpen blew the leads late in the game. So the Marlins really just did to us what we have been doing to them the past few years. They just came in and gave us a taste of our own medicine. I'm glad we salvaged at least one victory in the season with a walk-off win, thanks to my boy Dansby Swanson. But look, before we go any further, let me give my boy Ron Acuna some love. Like I say, dude is having an unbelievable start to his season. I just gotta shine some light on some of the numbers he's leading, not just the National League in. These are numbers he's leading Major League Baseball in.
Hold on. Kelly got a point. As much as we roast Kelly, you all jumped on Kelly last week when she said they were inconsistent. But it was early on in the season. I get on Kelly, but when right is right, I'm going to stand up for right. You owe Red, Coach. Y'all owe Kelly an apology.
Really?
Yeah, y'all owe her an apology.
Did I
say the Braves were inconsistent? She said they were struggling. Okay?
Well, they were.
They are struggling.
They were struggling.
4 games.
We're sorry, Kelly. We're sorry.
4 games, losing streak, win 4. So you were talking about the winning streak at that time because they won their 4-game winning streak. Then the
Hey, I'm
following
talking
day,
about the winning streak now. The 2-game
but
winning
they
streak.
just lost 4. They're under 500.
Yeah.
Okay.
They've been
All right.
inconsistent.
Kelly,
Since we're under 500, I'll give Kelly a problem. Because if we had been over 500, oh, I was about to roast you again, girl. But since we under 500, okay, we're a little bit inconsistent, Kelly. You were right.
I apologize for even making a reference to that. Now, could you please stop making those evil phone calls, please? Just don't do it anymore.
Well, Kelly wanted to make sure she was vindicated for her take, and I have to remember because Red, he was hilarious how he kind of checked Kelly, but Kelly was right. They're inconsistent, very much.
One of my great Red and Red moments. Oh, I replay it time and again. But thanks, Kelly. But you're right. Okay, Kelly. I'm not gonna go as far to say I apologize, but
We knew
you
that.
might have had a point.
She might have, or did she have a point?
She had
She
a
had a point.
All right. Let me just pose this question because we don't want to spend too much time on under 500 teams. They don't warrant that much time. They got to get back over 500 before we spend more extensive minutes on it. Is this team currently constructed able to even win their division?
Yeah, I think it's too early. It's still a little too early.
Yeah.
To say.
It's too early.
Maybe you got to ask us in about a month.
Coaches says I think he has a more definitive opinion.
Coach, it's too early to shake your head.
Because right now is pitching, and pitching, I think can be buoyed by getting those early leads, getting great hitting. So I think the Braves can hit their way into leads. And somebody say, "Well, the bullpen can't hold." Well, give them they coming around. I think like I said, I always said, check the stats Memorial Day. That'll tell you all you need to know.
Yeah.
So if by Memorial Day they are still playing under 500 ball, then you would have, as you say, I have some concerns.
Oh,
I
of course.
Braves,
I should be in first place.
My biggest problem with the Braves is simply this. They did not upgrade their hitting. All right. When you play against a team like the Dodgers, they obviously need more hitting. All right. Ozuna, he's cool. He's not anybody that's just a superstar. Freddie Freeman, we know he can do a lot in the regular season. He finally showed up a bit more in the postseason for the first time last year. Acuna is going to be Acuna. But we have a lot of shaky guys that do not add that extra pop into the lineup. So you're relying on Christian Pache, who is not a credible hitter. Austin Riley can have a hot streak and then be in a cold streak for weeks and months to come. So they did not upgrade the hitting. And then we still don't have that number one starter that is that shutdown starter to stop losing streaks. Like, it was a travesty that they did not go after Bauer when he is there for the taking. If you don't want to spend a whole lot of money on the hitter because you believe in the farm system, you got to get a top-notch proven pitcher like Bauer when it's been proven that all of these hot prospects have not become dominant prospects. That's what the Braves been banking on for about 3-4 years now, having all these prominent prospects. Has Soroka been good? Yes. Is he dominant? No. Has Fried been good? Yes. Is he dominant? No. Kyle Wright, good at times, dominant? No. Ian
Right.
he showed some level of being dominant, but that was for only a short season. So when you don't have all of these prospects who have become these dominant pitchers that you projected them to be, you got to go after a player like Bauer. And why would you let the Dodgers, who already have a dominant roster, get the best pitcher in free agency? So that's why I was trying to tell you guys, Coach and Red, who are sometimes too much of being homers, that I don't necessarily see how in the world you could put the Braves over the Dodgers when they get the best pitcher on the board when they already just beat you last season?
Real, I've been saying this for years. The Braves they're just too cheap for their own good, and they try to win doing the cheap being cheap. Now, see, when Ted Turner on, that's a problem. We don't have that one owner who got unlimited pockets. We owned by this sorry old media company, and I don't know if they set a price. And you know what I'm tired of hearing? This is what I'm tired of hearing from Alex. He always say, well, I'm not limited. I have freedom to spend what I need to spend. No, you don't. You don't have no freedom to spend what you need to spend. If you got freedom to spend what you need to spend, like Rev said, you would have went out and signed Bauer and as many hitters as we need, as many guys on the bench to make our bench deep. Dude, you do not have the resources that you need. You got you have a certain amount that they will allow you to spend, but don't act like you just got unlimited pockets, unlimited bankroll pockets like the Yankees or the Dodgers or the Red Sox, because it's a lie. You're trying to sell us a bunch of BS that's not true. You don't have unlimited pockets. Every year the Braves have a cap for some unknown reasons. Why? Because Liberty Media is one of the highly successful media conglomerates in this country. It's no reason they should have a strap on the Braves payroll. But for some reason, the Braves just keep being cheap, and they think they're going to win a World Series being cheap, all because they drafting these guys in the farm system that they project to come up and be these all-star greats. And like Rev said, it's happened for a few, but hasn't happened for all. And you just keep trying to be cheap, and that's why we keep falling short year after year after year.
What? Y'all see that comment?
Yeah, exactly. I never heard of in the farm. This guy, he ain't even been on the top prospects list. If you're gonna bring up somebody, bring up Rev Cousin, Michael Harris, or Drew Waters, or somebody.
Yeah.
What's a Guillermo?
Bring up that sounds like that director, Guillermo del Toro or something.
And Lance struck it right on the head of the problem. Ownership has caviar dreams with celery budget.
Yeah, they want to win all being cheap.
That's well put. Well put. Well put. All right, let's shift from the Braves report and let's go to GHS football, GHSA football. I think this was a topic first mentioned to Shelby while Ray was trying to creep in behind and become a sports boot. Folks at Valdosta High football. Shelby, I'm going to let you introduce this topic. So you kind of lead us in this topic. Go with it.
So if you don't know, Rush Probst was the coach at Hoover High School. The reason I know about Hoover High School is because MTV did a reality show on them, I think in the 90s, maybe the 2000s, called Two-A-Days. And it was all about Hoover High School. Hoover High School won 5 of 7 championships, including.
And they're in Alabama, right?
They're in Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
That's where they have SEC Media Days, Hoover, Alabama. Huge school. Rush Probst was the coach. They had like 110 wins in 9 seasons. It was crazy. They were like this dynasty. And Coach Probst had 2 families. He had a wife and a mistress. And because of his coaching prowess, Nick Saban called him, said, hey, come in for an interview. But Nick Saban knows everything. And thank you, Kimberly. She remembers that show. And said, I want you to come work for me, but what are these rumors I hear about you having 2 families? Whole town knew, but he, of course, denied it. He eventually resigned and came to Georgia and brought his foolishness to Georgia. So then he coached at Colquitt County High School for about 10, 12 years. They won multiple championships. The Board of Education eventually fired him for ethics violations. He owed about $500,000 in taxes. He had headbutted a kid. He was using Booster Club money for his own personal pocketbook. And then he moved to Valdosta. And I don't know if y'all remember, but last year there was a story about this kid from California who was this huge quarterback whose family or parents decided to legally separate so that he could move to Valdosta. which is really weird because you're in California. Why would you move to Valdosta? And there were some other people who got involved in it, including a son of a friend of mine who I went to Georgia with. So the kid, Jake Garcia, never qualified to play. He was never eligible to play in Valdosta, but he now plays for Grayson, which now is also being investigated because of Thomas Holcomb. My kid.
Man, back off Bill Campbell, man. When I was a little kid, when he was running for mayor, he was courting my dad in Wheat Street, and I had soul food at Braves games in the suites because of Bill Campbell. Back up off
I'm
Bill
sure
Campbell.
some other people did too. So
Freak away. I
fast
hate
forward, Valdosta is being the Board of Education in Valdosta. Now, if you've ever been to Valdosta High School football is crazy. Valdosta State plays in Valdosta High School's football stadium. I had a dear friend that I went to Georgia with who was the defensive coordinator in Valdosta, and so he invited me and my honey down, and we went to a game. It was crazy. So Valdosta High School, huge school. They love the University of Georgia down there. It's kind of weird. So he's now the coach of Valdosta. And he's bringing this kid named Jake Garcia down from California to play at Valdosta. Now Valdosta is being sued by a former football coach because there were 10 members of the Board of Education. 5 were black, 5 were white. The black one said no to the coach. The white one said yes. So now this coach is filing suit. There was this 64-page deposition, and Rush Probst got caught again. He asked the Valdosta touchdown director, now this is their little booster club, I need money for Jake Garcia, and it's on tape. This is the foolishness. Yeah, the Carver transfer is my friend's son. We won't talk about that. So he called the Valdosta Touchdown Club and was like, listen, I need y'all to give me money. And they were like, that's not what we do. We're here for the school. The director knew I need to tape these conversations. I don't know why, but he taped it and he snitched. And so now there's a 64-page deposition where he's talking about Rush Probst asked us to give money for Jake Garcia's family to move down here, $3,000 a month for living expenses, tried to hire his dad, and it just goes on. And so now Valdosta had to forfeit their wins in 2000. In 2001, they are not allowed to go to the playoffs. And who knows what else is going to come out.
You said 2020 they had to forfeit their wins? You said
7.
Okay. And then 2021 they're banned from going to the playoffs.
Yeah. And that's huge for Valdosta High School. I mean, they're always there. They just lost this year to Grayson. And so now Grayson is being investigated because Jake Garcia was all of a sudden eligible. He wasn't eligible in Valdosta, but he was eligible in Grayson. It's the same state. It's the same state rules. So Rush Probst, he leaves a trail of madness wherever he leaves. And how does he keep getting hired? He keeps getting hired because he wins. He's a proven champion, but the means that he does it is crazy.
Yeah. Now, anybody know anything about Hoover football? That's a major program in Hoover, Alabama. They are always competing for state championships. And it's just amazing how a coach like that continues to get chances. And, it's another prime example of what white privilege would do. And when you're white coach and win, there'll been all kind of rules to have you continue to coach, and he'll find another job, unfortunately, somewhere else. Coach, real quickly, I know you're in the high school football. You have any additional comments that you want to share with Shelby?
Well, Valdosta is always they were one of the ones that got the nickname Wintersville, USA, because all they did was win. Probst should have the nickname Fed, bought by the feds, or whatever you want to call him, because from Hoover all the way to, like Shep said, from Hoover all the way up, he's done nothing but cause scandal, cause problem. But they just like a pro football player or a good athlete in college. Winning trumps all that. People tolerate it because you winning. But then, Valdosta was one of those schools where if you're the head football coach, they give you a house and an F-150 and say, there you go. That's yours, coach. You don't have to worry about getting around. You don't have to worry about living. We got you. We got you covered. But when you lose and you're not up to the standards, like one year, the coach was 11-3, and that wasn't up to the standards. There was a for sale sign in his house, at his yard the next day, because they don't tolerate 11-3. They want championships down in Valdosta. That's how strict it is. But Probst was winning, and they, like I said, they tolerated it. So now he's not only affected Valdosta, but Grayson. It could be more involved than knowing him, but this should be the final straw in his high school coaching career. If any coaches have any sense, this should be it. But guess what? Stay tuned, because he's going to resurface somewhere else at a school, and they're going to win 3 years later. Controversy, boom, winning.
To help some people understand why this is a topic, Coach and I both coach for Atlanta Public School teams. Even though I used to be coach all the time, he did coach for
Wow.
high school basketball at Grady High School while I coached at Mays High School. Just to kind of help y'all understand, these coaches don't make a lot of money. Like, they're just stipends, nothing to live off of. When you coach, particularly in APS or any of the metro counties around here, a football coach may make $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 tops to be the head coach. Most of the money that these coaches make come from their teaching salaries. And then everything when it comes to coaching is just additional money. That is just not what you can live off of just being a coach. When you start talking about the programs such as Valdosta and Hoover, they have booster clubs that up the ante for the salaries for these respective coaches. So a coach at Valdosta might easily make 30, 40,000, 50,000 more in addition to their teaching salary, which could bring their financial package to six figures. That's the kind of stuff that we're talking about when you start bringing in programs such as Valdosta and Hoover, Alabama. No metro coach is coming near the kind of money that they make in Valdosta and Hoover, Alabama. So if there were some people wondering why this is a story, you're talking about Valdosta, arguably the most winningest program in Georgia history. And it's very much newsworthy in Georgia high school sports, because as Coach alluded to, if you don't win, they will put the for sale sign, because football is life in Valdosta. So I want to shift gears real quickly, and he'll get that.
Go ahead. One comment.
Kelly Acne.
Well, this is like I say, this is a very good informative topic. I appreciate Shelby for bringing it to everyone's attention. But this is y'all know how I am with movies. This is definitely gonna be the topic of some good, great, classic sports crime drama. This entire story right here, I would love to see it documented for a film or even a big time Netflix documentary, because it will be a very probably very informative program.
Yeah, and it's because it has scandal to it. It definitely
a lot of scandal. We got money going back and forth. We got, lives, careers, sports figures on the line. This is definitely will be a hot topic. Definitely a hot film.
All right, let's shift gears real quickly, and we hope there'll be no scandal going to Tennessee State, who just hired Eddie George to be their head football coach. And then also Eddie George said, I'm going to give Hugh Jackson the job so he can stop complaining about how he was done wrong with the Cleveland Browns. And he's going to make him his offensive coordinator in Nashville. We see that once again, another prominent NFL Hall of Famer gets a job in or at a historically black college, Prime in Jackson State, and now Eddie George at Tennessee State. And we know that Eddie George had a very prolific career as a running back with the Tennessee Titans. So, Coach, I'll start with you. Good hire or bad hire for Tennessee State? And what do you think about him bringing along Hugh Jackson? Man, not the breath.
I know. I thought this was good.
Coach might not like this hire.
Eddie George, let's just be honest. 0 coaching experience. 0. And you go into a program that, Tennessee State is okay, but so I guess what they say is you surround yourself with good people in order to make you look good. That's almost how I'm feeling with this Eddie George hire. Can he be successful? Sure he can. Eddie George is not a dumb man by any means. That's why I give him a little pub on that. He's not a dumb man by any means. He knows football. But we talking about coaching now. And a lot of former football players do not make good head coaches. Let's just be particularly honest with you. And I know everybody's happy. It's a black coach coaching at a black school. That's the pub I'm seeing. And then somebody actually said that Deion has started a trend. Doug Williams used to play pro football last time I checked. And Doug Williams was a Super Bowl winning quarterback. So Deion, Ken Riley, I could go down the list of former NFL players that coach at HBCUs. Don't say Deion started a trend. No, it's just got a little more publicity to it with Eddie George now. And then somebody even said, well, next is going to be Ed Reed and Ray Lewis. No, it's not. No, stop.
Anybody gonna hire Murder Ray?
Now, Coach, I gotta interject real quickly because I'm sensing a little bit of hypocrisy.
I saw you.
I'm sensing a little bit of hypocrisy in your statement. So you talked about former football players having experience or starting the trend before prime being coach at HBCUs, but then you criticize Eddie George from the very beginning because he has no coaching experience.
No, I didn't criticize. Let me correct myself. I didn't criticize him. I'm just saying, I put it this way. Let's wait and see. Because I also said that Eddie George is not a dumb man. He knows football.
Yeah, but you also said that you paused because you're not really sold on the hire. Maybe that's a better expression. Sold on the hire because he didn't have coaching experience. But I was at Morehouse when Doug Williams went 3-7 and was hired and then still got the Grambling job. And he had besides being alum, he had no business getting that kind of job after following a legend like Eddie Robinson. So the reality is, I think we just have to be honest about it, that a lot of these guys will not get PWI jobs, and especially not get these kind of jobs without going up the ranks. All right. And the reality is the HBCUs get more attention when they make these type of hires. Yeah. Also, they get more resources when they make these type of hires because these NFL football players have influence. They have teammates. They have relationships with corporations, just like, Deion was able to get that big partnership with HBCUs and Pepsi, things that they would have never dreamt of. And I think that these type of hires, probably for the sake of the longevity of HBCU football, is probably the route that a lot of these programs have to go, because the pandemic, if we're honest, is the worst thing that happened to HBCU football. Mm-hmm. Because most of these programs bank on getting blown out early in the season by one of these PWIs that's going to pay them $80,000 to $100,000 just to beat their brains in, to be basically a higher form of practice before they play their conference schedules. And this last year, they missed out on that money, and therefore hiring certain coaches like a Eddie George, who has some influence and, obviously has some money, that helps fund these type of programs when they are missing out on the traditional funding. So I think, HBCUs have to position themselves to make these kind of hires because it makes sense both for the player who would probably not get this kind of coaching opportunity at a PWI, plus the school who would not get the exposure as well as the money. Go ahead, Coach. I'm sorry.
I just want to ask Kelly, because she's into Jackson State, and I looked at different things now with the hire of Deion. How do they feel about him now? You know, at first it was Deion is going to win the SWAC championship for us in the spring. Now that he's I guess they say the bloom is off the rose a little bit. He's lost 3 straight. What do the fan base think of him now? I've seen different things over the internet. He coached like a high school coach. Wait till the fall. All kind of stuff. When I'm like, you still should support your coach when he first started. Come on now. He started now. You had all the expectations. Now he's lost. And now some of the fans are like, not real pleased. I mean, normal. I can't.
Jackson State, good one, Tommy. Jackson State is struggling right now, Kelly. And yeah, Eddie George, he gonna have an inside to the halftime entertainment with his wife on deck. Stop. And but like Coach said, Eddie George coming off of an acting career. This dude was on Broadway not long ago, acting with his wife. All of a sudden, he's going from the acting bug to now back into the coaching rank. So I can understand Coach having somewhat of a.
Fred, stop for a second. Him acting doesn't mean anything because
once again,
do you know how much football knowledge this guy has? He has probably forgotten more football than all of us together have ever had knowledge in the first place. So just because he had a stint, on Broadway doesn't mean that he lost football knowledge. Think about how many coaches he was coached by. Let's think about the stuff that he learned not only in Tennessee and in the NFL, but at The Ohio State. Then on top of that, high school. The dude's a Hall of Famer. So, Shannon Sharp's talking sports, but if somebody offered him a job, he still remembers everything that, he was taught. So,
Eddie George got in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah. I think so.
I think so.
Go ahead. Yeah, I'll look it up.
Look it up. I think the point that we're missing. I think the point that we're missing is whether or not Eddie George wins, whether or not Deion wins, they're bringing publicity to the school. No offense to Kelly, I never watched a Jackson State game before Deion was the coach. If Deion wasn't the coach, it would not be on ESPN. The only HBCU game that would be on ESPN, possibly, would be the Bayou Classic. And then they don't even show the halftime. So why am I watching?
Right.
So it's the publicity. And when you have somebody like Eddie George, then that means Tennessee State's going to play The Ohio State University. That's $1 million check.
Yeah.
The University of Georgia gave Southern, and bless his heart, the guy who got hurt in that game, but Southern got $1.5 million for that game when it was all added up. University of Georgia paid for them to come, paid for their hotel, paid for everything.
You know that with that game, it was a restriction though, Shelby. You know what the restriction was?
What?
The band had to show up.
Yeah, they had to. But
they wanted the band more than the football team.
Yeah, I don't.
Because my daughter was a freshman that summer when that happened.
Yeah, if you've ever been to a UGA game, but we don't sit there for halftime.
Yeah,
that
is
where we go drink.
Right.
Whether or not we have our little stuff in our, but that's not why we go. But let me tell you, I was at that game. All the white people sat down. Have you heard their band? Have you heard their band? Oh my gosh, they're so good.
I was there too. It was funny because Michelle and I, we didn't know that Southern had their own section, and we had never been to a UGA game, so we were sitting in the second section, and there was these little white kids. Obviously, their parents were season ticket holders, so they knew that the norm was we go to the concession stand during halftime. So it was like 2 minutes left on the clock. The little white kid said to his dad, Dad, isn't it time to go to the concession stand? He said, no, we're not going to the concession stand this week. We're going to stand right here because we want to see this Southern band. Mm-hmm. So it just showed how much Southern's band, was important for them to see. And that was the big reason why they got the big check, to be honest.
Real.
It was the reason for the battle of the bands.
I'm gonna go. I gotta jump back. Kelly said that those guys don't have football IQ, and I want to say, what guys are you talking about that don't have football IQ?
Okay, Kelly, coach is bringing out a statement. Qualify what you're saying right here.
What guys?
She must be talking about her Georgia Tech coaches.
They were in, Georgia Tech had spring practice. It was so cute. I watched a little.
Oh, it
was cute. It was cute.
What? Wait a minute. Hold it. Stop. Time out.
Hold on. Here we go.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Now, this is what I'm hearing from some of the Jackson State fans, and I got a small problem with it. I got concern. When you were winning, there was no problem with the team. The quarterback was all this. I heard people saying that quarterback is going to be all swag and this and that. Now that they done lost 3 games, the quarterback in the transfer portal. Now they don't have football IQ. All this stuff is going on. It can't be like that. Those guys can play. It can't be like that. I'm not accepting that.
They were beating Mississippi Valley State. They had nothing to say, coach.
And they beat Grambling.
But here's the thing. But to be fair to Kelly, we say the same thing. But to be fair to Kelly, Georgia fans do the same thing. It's all good.
Yeah, once they get that one loss.
But when you get that, we lose to Florida. No, I'm just saying. But she's not wrong. Georgia fans do it all the time. You can go to any Georgia board, fan board. Lord, why didn't we put in JT Daniels against Florida if he was this good? The kid was hurt. Like, we have to here. This is why we're fans or fanatics. Right. We don't know anything, but we know what we see. We don't know what goes on in the locker rooms day after day after day. We don't know what the coaches see every day. We just know who we want to play, and we know that we don't like to lose. It sucks. Losing sucks. Yeah. Atlanta fans know this better than anybody. Losing sucks. And it's very easy to be a Monday morning coach or Monday morning quarterback. Yeah. Because we don't know. We don't know who was hurt. We don't know. All we know is what we see. So of course they're gonna be mad. They thought Deion he was gonna come and take over and just be God. I mean, let's be honest, that's what they thought. When he came out on that field and that big and what's her name? Babyface's ex-wife came out there with him. Everybody thought Tracy Evans. Yeah. Everybody thought it was just gonna be great and roses, and then you got hitting them out. And now it's not fun to be a fan anymore. I don't need you to help me. I don't need it. I'm good over here. I don't need it. But I understand where Kelly's coming from because you have these high expectations and then you get brought back down to earth and your team really isn't everything you thought it was.
Well, Coach, before you jump in, she answered your question, Coach, on why people were speaking so highly of JSU and why they're not doing it now. She said your team, Mississippi State, along with the other teams that they beat, they weren't up to par.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, but you
would know about teams not being up to par, Kelly.
And then Deion made a critical mistake that that they're gonna really have to punish him for. When you stand on the sidelines and you tell your son in plain hearing of everybody else, you're not gonna make them same mistakes in the fall, are you? Golly, wow, Deion, you just basically told the quarterback, ain't no need of y'all playing for nothing but a backup because my son gonna start, even though everybody knew it in the country. But don't just put it out there in front of your team. Come on, you're a coach now. It's a different thing. You can't do that.
I have to agree with you, Coach, on that, especially being a former coach. That's inappropriate. Even if that's your son, you got to show some type of mental fortitude while you're taking these L's. And you just don't talk to your son and say those type of things. And that's why I can't really be upset with this kid who entered the transfer portal very early, didn't even have a chance for the stains to get off his uniform, and he already transferred, because you're making a statement like that on the sideline, you're basically telling the kid you need to get out of here quick, fast, and in a hurry. That's a statement that you say at home, but you do not say that on the sidelines. And because of Prime's fan factor, notoriety, he has to be smarter in knowing that there are mics everywhere. Probably mics where he doesn't even know they're mics, because once again, as Shelby was saying earlier, they are getting exposure that they've never gotten before. ESPN carried more black college football than black college football has been carried on a major network in its lifetime. I mean, so they got to become better in understanding that there is more media attention, there are more microphones, and Deion has to do a better job controlling his emotions, because you cannot make statements like that, because now with this transfer portal happy generation, kids going to be leaving out of here left and right. He keeps making statements like that. You can't do that.
That's Deion, man. Deion is all about himself, and these were the reasons the people were concerned about him coaching. I mean, he's like he wants to take on a bigger personality than the team. He got that George Karl dilemma going on inside of him. You better be careful, Prime. It might hurt more than help.
And I mean, everybody know that. I mean, a dead man with cataracts know that your son is gonna be the coach next year. I mean, the quarterback. I mean, that's not even an issue, but don't put it out there. At least have the coaching wherewithal to make it a competition to disguise the fact that your son is going to be the quarterback. I mean, at least make it a competition and put it out there so you won't have the people saying, well, dog. I mean, just like you said, Rev, in this transfer happy society, everybody talking about, don't worry, we're going to get our players, Deion's recruits next year. But them might be the only players you have left on your team, because all the backups gonna transfer.
Yeah.
Guys,
and then
guys
also
like Deion only make good. I think guys like Deion don't make great head coaches. Their personalities are too big. They're bigger than the team, and they don't really give most players a fair shot. I think eventually he'll be back in broadcasting. He's more of a TV personality than a coach.
And that's why I think Eddie George is the right guy.
Yeah, because
Eddie George has never, even when SWV, I mean, okay, he married a chick from SWV. Most people don't know that.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's not broadcast.
They keep a low profile.
And he doesn't have his own TV show like Deion. Deion had his own reality show. Deion is a personality. He is the personality. Yeah. And while it's good TV right now, when there's nothing else on, you're going to be the story and not your team. Because in the fall, when everybody's playing, because see, right now, we don't care because we're just watching football. Oh my gosh, there's football on. But in the fall, when you have to compete against a UGA or even a Georgia Tech for ESPN airtime, nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to care. Sorry.
Yeah, right. Even if we win, nobody's going to care.
Vincent Woodruff made the point that I was going to make before Red and Shelby shared. And the fact is that he's setting up, and I'll pull it up, he's setting up his son for setting his son up for failure. Because the worst thing you can do is just hand over the job to your son. The reality is, especially even he's setting up the program for failure, because you want to promote competition. You want to even say that when I recruit somebody, even if it's my own son, they have to earn the job and not be given the job. So therefore, Deion is setting himself up for failure as a coach, and also his son up for failure. I hope that his son is able to be do well, but I mean, he's a 4-star quarterback, just like the kid who just transferred. So that doesn't just automatically say that this kid is going to be great.
Yeah.
So time will tell. Time is moving on from us. Let me just get Shelby's opinion since she won't be on the show next week. We got her every other week. NFL draft thoughts. We got another week before we actually talk about the NFL draft. And Coach, you show that computer one more time.
Real, man. What is up with that?
You getting special money on the side to advertise the computer, but it's the third time that you've shown this computer. So I need to see if you cut a deal that we don't know about for sponsorship. If so, we need to see some of this money so we can spread it, because that's the third time you've done it. All right. So I just want to let you know the next time you do it, you're going to be removed from the screen until we know what kind of contract you've gotten with that computer. Nevertheless, we're going to go to our NFL draft thoughts. We're going to go to our NFL draft thoughts. Shelby, since you won't be with us next week, we'll let you kind of look at Red applause. We want to let you go ahead and share your NFL draft thoughts, especially about the Falcons. You are a Falcons fan. What do they do with the number 4 pick in the draft that is coming week after next?
So I listened to Terry Fontenot, whatever his name is, and he mentioned that, yeah, we have Matt Ryan, but you have to think of the future. We have to take a quarterback. It's just I don't even know why it's even a question. I know the draft rumors and all of that. We have to take a quarterback. Matt Ryan is in the twilight years of being an NFL quarterback. He's been here for 12, 13, 14 years. He's getting old. He's not Drew Brees old, but he's getting old. And if we can have the quarterback in the system with the coach where he's learning, and you maybe you put him in for a couple times to see how he reacts in the games, but you have to take a quarterback at number 4. You cannot worry about who everybody else takes. You have to take the best quarterback on the board at 4, whoever that is. I've heard rumors that Trevor Lawrence is dropping. I've heard rumors that I love Kelly. Yeah, the Falcons know how to falcon and mess it up, kind of like the Hawks do. They know how to hawk it up. But you have to. I've heard things about Justin Fields. It's not fair. It is very, very blatant race. No, I won't even say blatant. Very microaggression racist. Oh, he's the last one in and the first one to leave. Oh, I'm not sure if he's ready to be a great quarterback. Does he want to be a great quarterback? I mean, I've heard little things, and it's not fair. We don't know what they're going to do when they get to the NFL until they get here, until they sign the check, until they sign the contract. Shut up and just take the best place on the team. I know ESPN gets, they're hired to give their opinion, and that's fine. But their opinion is incredibly racist, and I'm sick of it. Every black quarterback that comes out, you got something to say. Ain't none of them smart, and none of them good. Never. There's not been one black quarterback who has been given the ESPN highest honors, and I'm kind of sick of it. But as far as the Falcons, they have to take a quarterback. I don't know why we're talking. You have to. And running back, I know we got rid of Ito Smith. Okay, whatever. Running backs are a dime a dozen in the draft. You take them 3, 4, 5, so you don't have to pay them a whole lot of money, because by the time you get to NFL, you've been running for how many years now? Your knees are shot. Your knees are shot like mine are at 44. They're shot. Listen, I scrubbed the ground a lot in college. Okay, my knees are shot.
Tell us what Uncle Luke did you.
I'm just saying. Listen.
No,
by the time
please
you get
don't.
By the time you get to the NFL, you are on borrowed time as a running back because you've been running. It's kind of like a pitcher's arm. You've been pitching so much that your arm's very close to giving out. So you take a running back. The Falcons have so many needs. I would love to get something for number 4 and maybe move back, because we almost need to draft a whole new team, but you can't do that. But get your need. I mean, we need somebody in the secondary. We need the offensive line. We need the defensive line. Please don't bring Desmond Trufant back. I don't care if he's available for free. Don't bring him back. We need everything. We need absolutely everything. But
So
I think you have to take quarterback.
Let me ask you this. Okay, so you're looking at possibly Justin Fields being available. Trey Lance, what's his name? Lance. What's his first name? From North Dakota State.
You got it, Trey Lance.
Trey Lance, yeah.
He's available. So we know that the Falcons have prolonged Matt Ryan's financial importance to the team by restructuring his contract. So that means he's technically on the books for 3 more years now. It would have been 2 had they not restructured. It's clear that the new coach is trying to work Kyle Shanahan magic with Matt Ryan, and it looks like, as we were talking about last week's show, that Arthur Blank is trying to salvage what he can with this roster. So with that being said, if Arthur Blank is trying to win now, can the Falcons afford taking a quarterback that will not get under center probably within the next 3 years? Because you still got Matt Ryan on the books for $30 million the next 2 years. And then do you bypass a player like Kyle Pitts, who arguably, even though a tight end, the best player in the draft, who will probably not be there if you take a trade and move down? For as people have said, he is the best player, regardless of position, in this draft. And you know that probably within the next 2 years, Julio will no longer be on the team. So can you bypass a player like Kyle Pitts?
I think you have to. Right now, the biggest need is quarterback. We have to think of the future. I know Arthur wants to win now, and that's pretty and that's cute, but we also have to think about long term. I think it's time, and maybe I do it. I'll be fine. I'll be able to do it. You have to have a conversation with Arthur Blank and Matt Ryan. And it's called what we call a come to Jesus meeting. I think it's time we have a come to Jesus. Matt, we love you. Okay. We love that you've been a part of the city. We love that you've been a part of the Falcons. But Matt, how close are you to retirement? I want you to retire as a Falcon. And how can, we'll keep you on as a consultant. But I think you have to have a come to Jesus with Matt Ryan. You have to have a come to Jesus about his money. Matt, you done made enough money, okay? And you have plenty of endorsements to get you and your kids. Y'all gonna be fine. But I think you have to have that come to Jesus with him and say, I love you, Matt. I'm glad that you're here, but we have to plan for the future. I get that he's a good tight end, but if you can't get the ball to him, what's the point? And you can pick up a tight end later on in the draft, just like you pick up a running back. I think we get, especially as fans.
They're not Kyle Pitts.
I know. I think, but we as fans, we like the pretty picks. We like the first 10 because that's sexy and that's cute. But sometimes you get a diamond in the rough later in the draft that you never even considered. So you have to. The Falcons do have a tendency to falcon it up. But I feel comfortable with this new regime. And Arthur Blank has to love Uncle Arthur. You got to take a step back. You have to write the checks. And that is all you do is write the check. I don't need you to input on it. Just write the check, sign the check, and go on about your bit. And it, get your investment on return. Enjoy your retirement. Enjoy your new wife. But no, we have to take a quarterback. I mean, again, I'm probably the only Matt Ryan fan here, but
you're right about that.
I know he's in the twilight years of his NFL career. The fact that he's made it this long with as many hits as he's taken is a miracle, because he's taken some pretty big hits. But we have to think about the future. And our future is not Matt Ryan. Sorry.
All right, we'll just pause right there. And I know Red has a lot he wants to say. We'll save it for next week because we still have next week to talk more about the draft.
Oh, you respond to her?
No.
But we've already gone well beyond our time this week. So we'll go forth and we'll let
you get the last word on football. I dare you come to my show and get the last word on football.
It's not your show.
You'll have everybody. You'll have as much time.
People's show.
You have as much time to rebuttal next week because we're gonna be draft heavy. We sure some things will come down on next week because it'll be the last weekend leading up to the draft. So we appreciate Shelby sharing her thoughts. And Red, you can jot down everything that she said. And if you
she ain't gonna remember about it
next week,
trust me, I'm gonna take full advantage of my notepad.
All right. As we get ready to end the show, who has the right to do what, when, where, and how as we close this show? Red, I'm going to start with you since you were ready to say something, but don't try to be sneaky and talk about the NFL draft because I do have the power of the mute button over here. All right. So go ahead. Who has the right to do what, when, where, and how? Go ahead.
Okay. Shelby, you have a right to be back here in 2 weeks when we had the NFL draft, so we can finish this discussion up. But in the meantime, nothing. We all have a right to be back here next week for episode 186. This has been such a wild show. I don't have anything in particular to be you have a right to bout, but we all have a right to be back here next Saturday, episode 186. And Shelby, you have a right to return in 2 weeks. See you, babe.
Oh, there you go. Coach, help Shelby out as she's recovering. I don't want to call on her right now because her stomach may be turning right now, so we want to give her a chance to recover. Go ahead, Coach. Who has the right to do what, when, where, and
how? Washington Wizards, you have the right to continue your small improbable run on making the playoffs this year. You're only one game out. So, hey.
Bless their hearts.
There goes Coach with that fandom, man. Russell Westbrook. Now we got to bring up the Washington Wizards, who like in 12th place.
Hey, they did beat Utah this week, Coach. So I give you that.
Oh my goodness.
One game out.
All right, Shelby, who has the right to do what, when, where, and how?
Dan Orlovsky, you have the right to shut up. Stop bad-mouthing black quarterbacks. I'm sick of it. Every year you do this, and it's a pattern. And finally, Kirk Herbstreit said something about it and was like, "Enough is enough."
Do people listen?
All right.
He on the TV.
Unfortunately,
People do.
I remember Dan Orlovsky doing it, running out the end zone trying to throw a pass, and that's all I remember from him.
He's on ESPN. He's a
Coach. I don't know.
analyst.
I don't know how he got that. How did he get that job? He was like one of the biggest NFL players around. Dude was on the Detroit bench for what, over 10 years? He was a bad.
You have the right, and y'all can talk about this after the show.
Yeah.
Thanks so much. Let me say this. Y'all made me almost forget it. Atlanta Braves, you have the right to complete this 4-game winning streak before you go on your 4-game losing streak again. So
Oh, no.
that's what you have the right to do. Beat the Cubs tomorrow and today to complete the 4-game winning streak. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all so much for watching episode 185. Shelby, once again, was a welcome addition, and we thank her. Look forward to being with us the next 2 weeks. And we'll be back for episode 186 next week on the Red and Red Sports Show at 11 o'clock next Saturday. Put that on your calendars, and we look forward to have some great sports.
Look at Thomas.
What we got? Let me go through these comments real quickly before we get out of here. Russell Westbrook. You have the right to get it together. Was glad to see Shelby on the show.
Stop it, dude.
Agreed, Shelby. I hate that dude. I don't use that often. Thomas looks at the clock. Time to catch the flight. The world in Durban.
Kelly, we gotta find this book this man using. He's using the book. We're gonna find this book.
Kelly.
I promise you we're gonna find it.
Thank you, Miss Harris. Vincent Love, UFC 185. Miss Ellie Von Williams, thank you for the love. Thank y'all, everybody. See y'all next week, episode 185. We'll do a little talking after the show. Be blessed, everybody. Have a great weekend.